Help, my Ikonart stencils aren't sticky. What can I do? So the first thing to understand is the adhesive level on our different stencils is different. Our purple stencils were designed to be stickier and the adhesive is more aggressive, while the adhesive on the blue stencils is lighter. So this is on purpose. So our blue stencils are made more for glass surfaces and ceramics and mirrors and chalkboards. So on those types of surfaces, you don't want your stencils to be super sticky, because if they are, when you remove the stencil, they'll stick too much and be difficult to remove. Whereas our purple stencils were made more for wood signs and fabric, so those are a little stickier because it works better for those types of surfaces. So initially, when you remove your blue stencil from the backer, it might not feel sticky at all, whereas the purple one, when you remove it from the backer, it will feel sticky. So the blue stencils are a pressure sensitive adhesive, so when you actually do apply them to your surface and push down, they maybe don't feel that sticky, but when you actually do put them on your smooth ceramic or glass, they will stick and work just great. That being said, your stencils still may lose adhesive over time or not feel as sticky as you want them to. This can be caused by, if you had to soak them for a really long time, or if washout took you a really long time, you maybe wore some of that adhesive down. If you're using a film dryer or food dehydrator, or some people even put them on low in the oven to dry them to evaporate that moisture off the stencil after washout, well, that can also dry out and suck moisture out of your adhesive, making them less sticky. But in order to reactivate it, here are some things you can try. So the first thing I like to do is simply huff on the back of my stencil. So this is introducing kind of this warm air onto the stencil that has a little bit of moisture in it. So that's simply going like huffing on the back of your stencil. It sounds really weird, but it does work to increase that tack. If you don't want to do that, I've also seen people use a handheld steamer to gently steam the back of their stencil, or you can also use a fine mist bottle or a spray mist bottle and just simply get your back of your stencil a little bit wet. If you do introduce moisture either with a steamer or a fine mister, you're gonna want that to be still, you want that water to be dry or the water droplets to be gone before you actually put it on your surface, especially if you're putting it on glass or ceramic, because if there's water on there and it mixes with the adhesive, it's going to create almost like this glue and stick to your surface too well. So there's definitely a fine line there. But if you spray it with a little bit of water and then wipe it off with like a paper towel or a microfiber cloth, that's introducing just enough moisture to make your stencils stickier. If you find that your stencils are too sticky for your project, like say you have a purple stencil made and you want to use it on ceramic, but it's too sticky, you can deaden the adhesive by patting the back with a microfiber cloth, and this will help them to be not as sticky. Or if you want to use your blue stencils on like cookies, then we recommend deadening the adhesive with our stencil glaze, which makes the stencils then safe for food contact. Depending on your surface, having the right amount of tack or stickiness on your stencils is important, especially on glass and ceramic, because you don't want the ink to seep underneath your stencil while applying it. On surfaces like wood, where you're using chalk paste, or fabric, where you're using fabric ink, it doesn't necessarily need to be as sticky or sticking to your surface because you're gliding that paint over the top and you're not going to run into as many problems with bleed. That being said, if you are using the purple on fabric, it can help a lot to use a tacky mat inside of your shirt or whatever you're using to hold the fabric down. That will also help to avoid bleed. If you're still having problems with your stencils not being sticky or your adhesive has simply just worn away, one other thing that you can try is spray adhesive. Just something to keep in mind is that it can clog the mesh opening, so it will depend on what type of surface and what kind of ink you're putting through the stencil, so that might require some trial and error. However, it does work for some people, so it might be something worth a shot if you're having a lot of problems. My name is Fawn and I share tips and tricks on how to make and use Ikonart stencils. If you want to see a more in-depth video on the differences between our blue stencil film and our purple textile film, check out this video right here. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you get notified every time we upload.